So I've been pretty busy recently, and as a result, but like I don't have a spoofy. So whenever I'm like working away, right, typing away at the computer, I usually like to have something on in the background. I'm caught up on every podcast I listen to, well, except for Taz, and I'm not ready for that yet because that's actually something I want to pay attention to. So I was like, okay, I need something to put on. You know what? Fuck it. So I've been listening to other people's reviews of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. For the most part, I've been avoiding them because I'm doing my own review series and I usually try to avoid other people's reviews when I'm doing my own stuff. Not always, but most of the time. And yeah, I've been avoiding them, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just put it on in the background while I work. I seem to be in the minority about John Walker. Admittedly, I only listened to like two or three other people, or two or three other groups. I mean, one group had like six people in it. I haven't really been following like how other people are really reacting to it, besides for like the one Zemo thing or the last week thing about Zack Snyder's Captain America. I haven't really been looking at like what other people think, how other people are reacting. But yeah, I definitely seem to be in the minority with John Walker because I see John Walker as more of a tragedy. Like, yeah, he is an antagonist, but his whole relationship is definitely tragic, to say the least. Like, everything that's happening with him cracking under the pressure of being Captain America, and his scars from war and everything. Yeah, I see the tragedy there. But I seem to be in the minority. A lot of other people are just like straight up like, oh, the show just wants us to hate John Walker. Oh, right, that's all. This is like, oh, this is a great moment for us to hate John Walker. And maybe it's just the people I watched who know comic books and like they know what they're going into, so they have more expectations of John Walker. But yeah, I definitely feel like I'm more positive on him. I mean, I still see the tragedy and I still think he's an antagonist, definitely, especially after what happens in this episode. But yeah, I definitely see that. And I also have seen people like criticize Sam and Bucky, like, oh, in the last episode, we criticized John Walker for killing a guy, but Sam has killed several people in the first episode, with the helicopter. He like kicks several people out of the helicopter. And they're accessory to murder when Zemo killed Nagel or 2 episodes ago now, I guess. But I could see how John Walker would argue that no, these guys are supremacists, they're terrorists, they need to be stopped by any means necessary. So I could see where John Walker gets them confused. Of course, the one difference here is that this guy basically surrenders and John Walker still kills him, right? He's at the mercy of Walker and he's basically surrendering. I mean, he doesn't actually say it, but he's got nothing left. And yeah, John Walker kills him. So I get it. And just from your average person's perspective, they just see Captain America come up and kill this guy. They don't know any of the nuance. He just looks like a normal guy. He doesn't even look like a super soldier. Yeah, Sam and Bucky aren't as innocent, but it's definitely, I talked before, I think this was in the WandaVision reviews, about how the MCU kind of does murder a lot, right? Like there's a great example in like the Batman movie, The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Lucius Fox like quits Wayne Tech because they're hacking into like everyone's like cameras and phones. And then in the MCU, in the first Avengers movie, Shield just does that because that's how much things have shifted in just like a few years. The MCU just kind of kills people, and I know some people hate that. I'm more gray on it, and it's funny because I hold DC to such a higher standard that like Batman and Superman shouldn't kill people. But admittedly, those are also the heroes I'm more familiar with, and Batman and Superman shouldn't kill people. And neither should Captain America, right? The we don't trade lives. And even in this episode, Sam will say something similar. I don't know. There is definitely a difference between what Sam did in the first episode and what Walker did at the end of the last episode. Yeah, neither of them are perfect, but there is a difference. And I still see the tragedy in John Walker. And I hope that, especially through this episode, a lot more people are saying it now. But I guess let's get into it. This is episode 5, Truth. So we start off with Walker running away from the scene of the crime last time where he killed the guy. Blood still on the shield, and he is having a mental breakdown. He hides out inside of a warehouse and he's freaking out. It's Walker needs to go to therapy. Definitely. Both the stress of being Captain America, right? He'll say later that, like, oh, they don't understand what it takes to be Captain America. And that's definitely breaking him down. He has, from being in Afghanistan, he has scars. And yeah, he's PTSD trauma. I don't think it's PTSD, but he's definitely got some sort of trauma. And it's all just compiling on him along with him, right, being a super soldier now. Because I've seen a lot of people bring up the thing that, oh, in Captain America, the first Avenger, the scientist tells Steve that, oh, the serum amplifies whatever you are. And he just wants to amplify Steve, who is a good person and not a good soldier. He basically doesn't want to make Walker. And yeah, a lot of people have been bringing that up, and yeah, no, fair enough. That's actually the way that this show has handled it is very clever. He's having a mental breakdown here, and I kind of feel bad for him. At least I do. I don't know if everybody else does, but I definitely see the tragedy in it all. Especially because, again, he just lost his best friend. His actions are wrong, but I get it. Sam and Bucky show up and tell him to turn himself in. That way nobody gets hurt. And I think Sam tells him to hand over the shield. And he's like, oh, I know what you're doing. I get it now. You just want the shield. Because, right, we know Sam worked for the VA. He did a support group, and that came up last episode, and it'll come up later in this episode. Sam is definitely trying to help him. Right there. Yeah, sure. One of the complaints I've seen about, right, the Sam and Bucky were accessories to murder, but I saw in the second episode people were like, to be fair, Sam and Bucky are real assholes to John Walker, that he's just trying to do his best, and they are just jerks to him. And fair enough. In this, he's like, oh, I get what you're doing. You want that back. And he's like, you don't want to do this. And Bucky says, yeah, no, we want to do this. Because Bucky's been from point one ready to take back the shield. So that's exactly what happens here. We get a fight between Walker, Sam, and Bucky, and it's fantastic. This is a great fight. Is it my favorite in the show so far? Actually, it seriously might be. It's just really well done, right? Walker yells like, why are you making me do this? Because, right, he thinks they're trying to steal the shield from him, because he even screams that I am Captain America. Because much like the Iron Man fight in Civil War, they're not trying to kill him or anything. They're just trying to disarm Walker, get him to stand down, whereas Walker is trying to kill them. Right, why are you making me do this? He has Sam on the ground, and he brings the shield up, and or maybe he has Bucky. He has one of them. He's definitely trying to kill them. Walker is, because he's still in the middle of a mental breakdown. He's still freaking out. Of course, right, this is his only way he knows to respond. And to that end, yeah, to be fair, he engages them first. And they aren't trying, they're just trying to disarm him. They aren't trying to kill him. They do break his arm to get the shield off. Yeah, they pull his arm backwards, and that's he rips the wings off of Sam's suit, but they are able to disarm him. They are able to knock him out. Bucky takes the shield, and there's a great shot of him in the light with the shield, and they don't walk away. Bucky gives the shield to Sam and then walks away. So it's up to Sam to take it or not. And of course he does. From there, we find out the GRC is shutting down all of the camps, right? Anyone who's been helping out Carly, all the GRC camps are getting shut down. They meet up with Torres. I didn't really care for him in the first episode. I feel like he's been better since then, and he's fine in this moment. Bucky goes off to take care of Zemo, And Sam and Torres talk about like what do they do need to do next. Torres is basically like, Carly's probably laying low after everything that happens, so I guess we should just wait out and see what happens, right? Maybe take some time to relax. And yeah, I mean, fair enough. This is I can predict that some people are going to be disappointed. IGN, by this episode not being as like big or as action packed as like some of the previous ones, that there is a lot of downtime in this episode, but I think that downtime is important. I think you need that down. And I'm not talking about the Isaiah stuff. The Isaiah stuff we totally needed, and it's fantastic. I'm talking more about Sam, Bucky, and Sarah fixing up the boat. I feel like some people are going to have a problem with that, but no, I think that's definitely needed. This is kind of like, I mean, I know we do literally get a training montage in this episode, but this is kind of like our training, right? Like, the in like the for some reason Age of Ultron is the first one that comes to mind. Like after Vision is created, they kind of have that like montage of all the heroes like getting prepped up to go to Sokovia over like a Captain America speech. This episode is kind of that, of them getting prepped up before the big final fight in New York, but it's just extended, right? It's just longer, it's wrapping up some more loose ends. And yeah, I think it works really well. Torres, right? Sam and Torres are talking. Sam says he's heading back to the States. He takes the shield with him. Torres asks about what about the wingsuit, and Sam tells him to keep it because, as I learned, and part of the reason I'm also probably more liking towards Torres is because he is going to be our new Falcon. Sam is the new Captain America. Torres is the new Falcon. Whether he shows up in the next episode as the Falcon, as the new Falcon, I do not know. But I'd be down for it. And yeah, I guess I've been giving him more leeway because I know he's going to be the new Falcon. I'm now giving him more of the benefit of the doubt, I guess. We see John Walker's hearing, and they just tell him that because of what he did, he is no longer Captain America. He tries to explain the circumstances of what he did, like what led to the moment. They say, oh, we already know. We don't need to hear this. John Walker goes off on them and is like, I only ever did what you wanted of me. Right? That John Walker is, right, he's the perfect soldier. He did everything they asked him of. They don't understand the pressure of being Captain America. They don't get it. I don't think they know that he's a super soldier. I mean, we'll get Val in a second who does, but I don't think they know, which is probably for the best, honestly. But yeah, no, again, I see the tragedy of it all. Because they tell him that, oh, he's lost his, because of what he's done, he's lost his rank, he's lost all of his benefits. And the girl from the first episode turned out to be his wife. So yeah, we find that out here, because it's complicated. But yeah, no, I kind of feel bad for him. Did he take things too far? Yes. But I see the tragedy in John Walker. I really do. And him standing up there being like, I only did what you asked. It's really, I know, right? Oh, there's the whole thing about like, oh, I was only following orders. But yeah, no, the second they have the chance, they just throw Walker under the bus. I've seen people say that, oh, right, Steve Rogers is what America wants to be. It's our bright, shiny America, right? The people's freedom, basically any history book you'd have in like high school. And meanwhile, John Walker is America's like gritty reality, like all the horrible things we've done that you like find out in college when you have to take a history class, like the internment camps, the war crimes, the Contra, right? It's John Walker is like the horrible reality of America. And I guess that's true to an extent. Again, Zack Snyder's Captain America. But again, I still just see a tragedy in John Walker. That he was just trying to do his best. And yeah, sure, he has definitely some trauma, and he definitely needs to go to therapy. But I see the tragedy in it all. I guess I don't know why I'm so fixated on this. I don't know why, but I guess I am. Afterwards, John is talking to his wife, and all of a sudden, Val shows up. She's got this really complicated name. I don't fucking care. I'm assuming this is another character from the comics. I don't know. She is. This entire scene, I think, is really awkward. Like, I don't. I know this is technically a TV show. And admittedly, part of like this episode being like downtime of them relaxing is maybe possibly a budgetary thing, and that it definitely feels more like a TV show. Personally, I've always thought the MCU there are so far WandaVision and I know we compared WandaVision to a Disney Channel original movie. I didn't really care personally. I thought it was fine. And this, I know people have complained that, oh, the writing sometimes kind of feels like a TV show. I've never really been bothered, and the action has always been top notch in the show. But this is definitely one of those moments, like, don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as, let's use Riverdale as an example. But it's this scene is just weird and it's kind of forced, and Val is just like, it's setting this is setting up US Agent, because Val, we don't know anything about her because she tells nothing except for she knows he took the serum, and she tells him not to worry about getting the shield back, that the shield's kind of in this legal gray zone, which, to be fair, it is. Because yes, it belongs to the government, but at the same time, it does also kind of belong to Stark. So yeah, it's kind of, I get that. My guess is she works for a private military corporation, aka the villain of every Call of Duty game, right? Because the PMCs eventually try to like take over the world. Press F to pay respect. Yeah, that's the villains in that game are PMCs. And my guess is that she wants John Walker, because she knows he has the serum, that she wants to hire John Walker for her PMC or whatever, and she's going to turn him into US Agent. And we'll probably get more. I mean, we'll get to it, but that's probably going to come up at the end of the next episode, because I think John's going to go out and do it on his own at first. And then, yeah, in the next episode at the end, probably he's going to be hired to basically become US Agent for this PMC. That's my guess of what, because I don't know, the whole Val scene kind of sucks. We see Carly show back up at that camp in Latvia, and the camp has been shut down. All the people have been removed because, of course, they were harboring Carly. So now everyone has to pay the price. Carly points, it's like, how many people have to die for us to live freely on this planet? Again, I still get Carly. I know next episode she's going to do something terrible. She's going to do something irredeemable. The show's going to make her into the villain I don't see her as. That everything people have said about, like, oh, because she does a murder, she's bad, that's going to happen next episode, but I really wish it didn't. I know that's what's going to happen. Like, I really wish Sam could talk her out of it, but she's not going to be able to, and there's a good chance that she's going to die. At whose hand? Probably Walker's hands. Yeah, probably. The power brokers. No, it's gonna be the power broker before it is Walker, honestly. Oh God. But yeah, that's next week. No, I talked about like Carly's regret, how she'll say things and then she'll regret it. And while she thinks she's willing to do these terrible things, she really isn't. But I think in this next episode, we're gonna see, or in this is basically her doubling down. That no, she is, after everything that's happened, now that all these people have died, everybody they've lost, she's going to double down, and yeah, it's the end of the episode. We see Bucky, and he's at the Sokovia Memorial, which, yeah, that's a good setup, payoff, and he arrests Zemo, right? Zemo tells him that the only way to get rid of Carly is to kill him, or to kill her. And I get that, and I get where he's coming from there. I hope this goes better than that. Bucky puts a gun to his head, pulls the trigger, but no bullets, which is this entire scene is really well done. And yeah, that's a great way of, because Zemo is like, you're still the Winter Soldier. I know you've got a little bit of killer still in you, right? Zemo said that on several occasions. And this is Bucky proving that no, he isn't. Even though he has the opportunity to kill Zemo and he's got the reason to, he's not going to do it. And instead, the Dora Milaje show up and take him away. They say they're sending him to the Raft, the prison from Civil War. And yeah, that's kind of an abrupt ending to Zemo. This is a good scene. Bucky's not a killer, and Zemo says like, "Oh, I hold no grudge. I've marked my name off in your book." And I think it's a well done scene. It really is. But I kind of wish there was a little more to Zemo. Mainly, I just want to see him again. I don't know how you. I mean, Walker's a super soldier. He's going to make it through the show. In a future episode, you could totally have Walker show back up. And Zemo breaks out of the rat. I mean, Steve Rogers broke in and broke out. Zemo can totally do it. This is a comic book. Prisons are kind of revolving doors most of the time. Because here's the thing. As of this moment, there is no announced plans for a Captain America 4. But I hope that after this, they announced that they were waiting for the show, and I hope they announced that yes, we are getting a Captain America 4. Sam's going to be the main character, Taurus is going to be in it, and have US Agent and Zemo show back up, right? And I don't, just make a cool movie. I don't know. Maybe have the power broker, maybe have them trying to stop the power broker who gets away from all this, who doesn't get arrested. And now we've got all these conflicts that actually get taken over into a movie. Of course, the problem with that is that movie wouldn't come for at least another like 2 or 3 years. We already know Marvel's schedule because they tell us everything now. So we know anything, a movie wouldn't be for years. But I hope it happens. I hope Sam gets his own Captain America movie. The show is really good, but give him his own thing, right? It's just kind of an abrupt ending to Zemo. It's I don't know. It really has, it does match with the character, because except for that one scene where Zemo kicks everyone's asses in the shipping container, he's been more subdued throughout the show. And I know that's different from the comics for sure, but it fits very well with the interpretation the MCU has gone for of the character. That he is more of a brain, while he has combat abilities, he's much more of a brain guy, right? He's definitely much more into his ideas and his manipulation and how he works the situation. And I feel like, yeah, this is doing a good job at that. And this ending definitely fits that. I mean, Zemo's been apologizing throughout the entire show, and this is, yeah, one last apology, I guess. And yeah, they take him away. I'd seen speculation that, hey, well, if Sam's becoming Captain America, does that what happens to Bucky, right? Because he's no longer the Winter Soldier. Does he become the White Wolf? Because I guess that's a comic thing. I don't know. Again, I'm a DC guy, and I'm not even I don't even read that many comics. So I don't know what the White Wolf is or anything like that. But in this, Aoi tells him that, oh, you probably should make yourself scarce in Wakanda, right? Don't show your face around, not anytime soon. So we could totally still get the White Wolf. It's just not happening anytime in the near future. I honestly, I think the White Wolf is not the worst way to go with him, honestly. So yeah, we'll see. And then as they leave, he asks for one last favor from the Wakandans, and we'll find out about that at the end. Admittedly, I didn't put it together in the moment, but definitely when he shows up again, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. We cut back to Sam, and he's back in Baltimore. And he has the shield, and he wants to go talk to Isaiah again. But I'm definitely not qualified to talk about it, both in the scholarly sense. I'm a straight Hispanic male. I do not know the African American experience. I will never know the African American experience. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm glad this scene is here. A lot of people were speculating hey, is the MCU gonna go into the fact that Sam Wilson is a black Captain America? Are they actually going to address this? And I know a lot of people were saying no, of course they're not. This is Marvel. Of course, a lot of people were hoping they weren't going to go into it because, racism. But I'm glad they're addressing this. All right, seeing Isaiah in the second episode was oh wow, they're actually doing this. And then I was like, oh, they're probably not. We have this one scene, and then they probably weren't going to bring him up again. And here we are. They brought him up in the third episode, and then they bring him up in this episode. It. I'm glad they're going into this. This is an important aspect of not only is just Isaiah like interesting in itself, the like the first Captain America, the Black Captain America who got punished for it, but it does. Yeah, Sam Wilson is the Black Captain America, because like I remember there's this argument that like where people complain about like, oh, why did they make Spider-Man Miles Morales, why did they make him black, why did they make Jane Foster the female Thor, right, why did they make Thor a woman, right, why turn existing characters into like people of color or right women or whatever when you could just create new characters. And in theory that argument isn't a terrible one, right, that like, oh, it because representation is important and it is important to have characters people can connect to. The problem is that argument does not hold up at all. That argument is bullshit because it does mean a lot. One good thing to come out of the Ultimate Universe was Miles Morales. And yeah, having Spider-Man, the biggest Marvel hero, arguably the third, anywhere from the first to third biggest hero of all time, having him be an African Latino is a big fucking deal. An African American be Captain America. This show is all about the symbol of Captain America, right? That Captain America represents something. So having an African American be Captain America, that fucking means something. Last episode we made the joke. What Steve Rogers built up in 70 years as Captain America, John Walker destroyed in 70 seconds. That's people are kind of joking about that, but that's the point. That's Captain America is a symbol. And so for an African American to be Captain America, that is a big fucking deal. Because this entire scene with Isaiah is fantastic because we find out what happened to Isaiah, that right, he was an experiment to make a super soldier. He was one of the only ones that survived because his some of the other ones who had been experimented on, they got captured. He broke out of the facility, went and saved them, and then presumably got court-martialed for it. And that's why he's been in jail for 30 years. That's why he spent 30 years in jail. That while he was in jail, right, all the other people who were experimented on, they all died. His wife passed away. And he's the last one. And that, yeah, America isn't ready for a Black Captain America. They don't deserve it. I get Isaiah's perspective. Sam tells him to go public, and no, he can't, because America isn't ready for a Black Captain America, and that no Black man would ever be willing to be Captain America either, because of how their country has treated him. And that's his opinion on things. And of course, we have Sam, who is, I mean, later on, Sarah will call out that Isaiah's gotten in his head, and yeah. After that, Sam returns back to Louisiana. He meets up with his sister. And of course, right, there was that debate in the first episode about, oh, do they fix the boat? Do they sell the boat? Sam doesn't want to sell the boat because it's his parents' boat. And Sarah, well, he finds out from the kids, but Sarah can't even sell the boat, that it's so broken that she wouldn't, it'd be a money pit basically. And I get that. That was my first car. Well, okay, it became a money pit. But Sam's like, our parents were integral parts of the community. People are gonna help out. A lot of people owe our parents favors. Maybe it's time to collect. So they get the community together to help. They don't actually help them fix up the boat, but they help them get supplies to fix up the boat. Bucky shows up during this, and he drops out a pack. He drops off the briefcase that he got from the Wakandans, and is like, "Oh, I'm here to make a delivery." But then he ends up staying around and helping with the boat. No, this is that leisure time I was talking about earlier, and I'm glad it's here. It's it doesn't contribute, besides for wrapping up everything with Sarah, right? That plot, which was open in the first episode, it doesn't really do much to to expand the larger like superhero story. But it doesn't need to, you know? I'm fine with them slowing down, taking a moment. We get like a little fixing the boat montage. And yeah, it's just them being normal people, fixing up a boat, right? This is our last bit of reprieve before the big final battle, which is basically where the episode ends, hinting that, yeah, no, this is where we're starting next time. And yeah, I like this little fixing the boat montage. I like the Bucky and Sarah, right? How there's that like, oh, don't flirt with my sister, which didn't somebody's made that joke before in the MCU about like don't flirt with my sister. Who was that though? And yeah, I like this little fixing the boat montage. I think it actually works really well. So from there, we cut over to John Walker, and he informs Lamar Hoskins' family about Lamar's death. And it's a heart-wrenching scene. Again, I see the tragedy in John Walker, and he has lost his best friend. And he knows his family, right? There's like, oh, this is our photo after we came back from our first tour. And yeah, it's genuinely heartbreaking. Oh my God. And because I guess I feel bad for him. And I feel bad for his family. And of course, Walker's like, oh, he explains what happens. And he's like, I killed the man who killed Lamar. And his parents are like, you know, as long as you killed the man who killed our son, hopefully he can rest easy. Which that's what's setting up why Walker's going to show up in the next episode to stop Carly, because he didn't, because Carly killed Lamar. So now John Walker has to make his right. He has to make that true. He has to go out there and get revenge. He's going to become right USA based on the post-credit scene. He's going to become our US agent, and he's going to go out there and he's going to try to kill Carly. He talks about how it was an right, how Lamar thought or Lamar is like, oh, it was an honor to be Battlestar and work alongside Captain America. And yeah, John Walker returns the sentiment like that. Yeah, it was an honor to work alongside him. It's just a genuinely heartbreaking scene. And Walker leaves, and on his way out, he sees like one of the like posters hung up that's John Walker is Captain America. And yeah, again, he's becoming our US agent or whatever. And that's definitely what we're seeing here, and that's why he's gonna come back next episode. He's gonna make his shield, and he's gonna stop Carly, because that's the one thing he keeps saying throughout this, that he is Captain America. But yeah, and again, he needs to go to therapy. Send Walker, right? We joked in WandaVision, is that WandaVision was a show about people really needing to go to therapy. And yeah, John Walker really needs to go to therapy. We cut to Sharon Carter for like a minute, and she's talking on the phone to Batroc. He's speaking in French, and she's like, I busted you out of prison. I have a job for you, double cash. Yeah, Sharon Carter is the power broker. I'm surprised they don't just say it. Like, she doesn't have like an assistant come in and be like, Miss Power Broker, what do you need done next or whatever. I'm surprised they don't just say it. This creates our conflict for the next one. But I think Sharon's still walking. Either she's never going to get caught and Sam's going to give her that pardon, or she's just going to walk away from this fine, right? Like, she's going to head back, right? That she never gets caught, and that she's now got that pardon. She can be back in the US, but she's still the power broker. Or they find out that no, Sharon is the power broker, and she's now the main nemesis of our new Captain America movie, which would actually be pretty cool. We go back to, so Bucky was like, he's leaving the next day, and Sam's like, oh, you can crash on our couch. So he does, and he wakes up the next morning, and Sam's nephews are playing around with, and like they're holding the Captain America shield, and they're like play fighting with it. We've said that thing about, right, John Walker destroyed Captain America's legacy. This is the scene that proves that saying is wrong. That no, Captain America, I mean, it's kids playing around with superheroes, but it's kids playing around with superheroes. Yep. Yes, Sam is ready to be Captain America. And this scene definitely shows it. It's just a little thing, and Sam doesn't even know about it. But it's just a little moment, but I love this moment. I think it's fantastic. What a great little thing. And yeah, it shows the shield still has meaning, and that, yeah, Sam can wield it and he can get the meaning behind it. Sam and Bucky go out and they're throwing around the shield, and Bucky apologizes to Sam that, oh, he was in a pretty bad place, right? Especially seeing that shield get put away in the museum. It's almost like I should be in the museum, because yeah, they're old. But now because of everything that happens, Bucky is now in a better place. He's in a better place mentally. Sam gives him some advice, because again, Sam worked for the VA. He helped people out. And yeah, we've seen it throughout these episodes, and I'm glad that that's a part of his character. I'm glad that that's not just like that wasn't just a one-off thing in Winter Soldier. That is an integral element of his character that they keep bringing back. The MCU has a lot of different pieces, and I like that they play with all of them. Because it would be so easy to leave something like Sam worked for the VA by the wayside and just focus on his time as, right, the Falcon. No, they don't. Everything matters. Sam brings up that, oh, you weren't out there trying to make amends, you were avenging. You don't have to make yourself feel better, you have to make other people feel better. And yeah, it's a good point. It's a good bit of advice, and I really like it. I really like this interaction between Sam and Bucky. Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie just have fantastic chemistry. They work off of each other really well. And this is probably the apex of that, honestly. Because after that, they have a discussion about how, oh, we're not friends, right? We just share a mutual friend. We're professionals, right? We're not co-workers. We're just professionals who work together. And Bucky's like, yeah, Carly's gonna show her head soon. If you need me, I'll be there. Zemo says you should kill her, but we'll see about that. Bucky walks off, and yeah, Sam's now got the shield. And honestly, if we didn't see Bucky again for the rest of the show, it would kind of like the Zemo thing, it would kind of suck. But I honestly think this is a good note to end on. The episode could have ended right here, and I guess I would have been fine with it. That, yeah, this is not the worst note to end on. And this is, if Bucky doesn't show up next episode, and it's just Sam and I guess Torres shows up. I mean, he's obviously going to. The Winter Soldier is in the name of the show. But if he doesn't, yeah, no, I'd actually have I think it's fine where this ends. That this is, again, and that's on the assumption that Bucky will show up in future movies, right? Or if he'll get his own show. Give him his own show called White Wolf or whatever. I'd watch that. If it ended, if yeah, Bucky didn't show up, I'd kind of be fine with that. I actually think this is a good note to end on with him. And then we get a scene of Sarah talking to Sam, and Sarah admits that she can't sell the boat, right? That now, because of all this time they've put fixing it up, and yeah, the sentimental value, that yeah, she just can't do it anymore. And Sam's like, I'm out there saving the world and all that, but this is one fight I can't lose, because the world, my family is my world, basically. Yeah, this is where Sarah brings up that, oh, you can't let Isaiah get in your head. Only you can decide your fate. And Sam says, I got the quote here, "What's the point of all the pain and sacrifice if I wasn't willing to stand up and keep fighting?" You know how in Spider-Man Homecoming, or in Civil War actually, Spider-Man's like talking to Tony Stark, and he's like, when you have the powers I do and you don't do about them, should you really even have these powers? And he doesn't say with great power comes great responsibility, but he basically does. That's this moment. Sam doesn't say, I could do this all day, but this is him basically saying, I can do this all day. Yeah, he's Captain America. He's been Captain America throughout this entire show. He's got the ideals. He's doing the right thing. But this is the moment where it's like, yeah. So after that, we get a Captain America training montage of him throwing around the shield, learning how to throw it around, which is funny because just like a scene earlier, he was doing with him and Bucky throwing around the shield, they were doing a fine job. But now he's trying to throw around the shield with all the kicks and the flips and whatnot. And he almost gets hit by it. He gets thrown around. I was, you know how like in like movies with like kids, right? The kids throw the baseball and it breaks the window of like old man McGillicuddy's house and they have to like get it back. I was kind of hoping that for that moment where he throws the shield, it bounces off a tree and it breaks a window in Sarah's house. I was kind of hoping for something funny like that to happen, but no, the montage is taken very seriously, and yeah, it's a pretty good montage. I can't believe it. I had never put it together until one of the kids says it, but he's Uncle Sam, right? His nephews call him Uncle Sam, and I had never put it to. Oh my god! Oh, we get a good training montage of Captain America because yeah, Sam is our Captain America, and this is him accepting that he is Captain America. We cut back to Carly and we find out she's buying. I'm pretty sure they're weapons. She's buying weapons from Batroc, right? Who Sharon called earlier, so we know Batroc is working for Sharon, who is the power broker. And right, the power broker has been threatening Carly this entire time. And while Sharon's obviously not going to be in New York, they're working with Batroc because Batroc claims that he wants revenge on Sam. Right, that because of the thing that happened in the first episode, right, Sam screwed him over, so now he wants revenge. So now Batroc's helping them out. But obviously, I mean, he probably is, and that's probably the truth, but he's also going to try to kill Carly. And I would not be surprised if either Sharon shows up or if somehow, he gets away with it. And then we get a scene of Carly like pressing a thing on her phone, and all of a sudden all the people rise up because the people are with Carly. And that's just a display of power, right? There's another movie that does this fantastically. Oh, I'm thinking of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, Azula does it, where it's like, oh, you may be in charge, but the people don't respect you. And that's how Azula gets all the Dai Li to her side. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, this is a show of Carly's power, that all the people are with her and the Red Hand and all that, and that she's in New York. From there, Torres, because of the ping she sent out, Torres has been like tracking it and tracking the pings, so he now knows that Carly is in New York. And he tells Sam about it. Meanwhile, a GRC meeting is going on because they were talking about, because in this last episode, the GRC was like, oh, we're fast tracking this bill to like forcibly remove 20 million people. So we get this meeting with the GRC. And of course, there's that one guy who is just like, oh yeah, we're just going to order the soldiers to do it. Why are we even voting on this? We know it's going to pass. Let's just be blatantly evil corporate bad guys. And of course, we're going to remove these people, right? Who cares about these people? Oh, who cares if we're low on soldiers and resources? We're still going to remove these people. And I mean, I know there are some people who's trying to argue with them. And this might have even been the senator that made Captain America, that made Walker into Captain America. I'm not entirely sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if he is. He's just our blatantly evil, one-dimensional corporate government bad guy. And then, of course, the lights go off and they go red because, the Flag Smashers, the Red Hand, Carly, and all that. That's where we're going to be in the next episode. Sam opens up the briefcase, and that's his new suit, obviously. Like, that's obviously where we don't actually see it. But that's the next episode, is obviously he puts on the new suit, he goes to New York, and she's gonna fight Carly, he's gonna fight Batroc, Carly's probably gonna die, power broker, John Walker is gonna show up and try to kill Carly because he has to now. He definitely feels obligated to, because he wants revenge. And we got a post-credit scene here. It's of Walker doing some welding, and he's making himself a new Captain America shield, right? Because Sam has the actual vibranium adamantium alloy shield. So now Walker needs his own. So he's making one. He puts his metals into it. And yeah, that's where we're gonna go next time because he's gonna become the U.S. agent, and yeah, he's definitely gonna show up and he's gonna try to kill Carly. This show has had a lot of balls up in the air, right? It's been doing a lot, and this definitely wraps us up on a few. It wraps up Zemo. It kind of wraps up Bucky, even though he's going to be back next episode, obviously. It wraps up everything going on with Sarah. And yeah, next episode, we've got the Power Broker, Carly, and US Agent. And although, and maybe Torres will show up as Falcon. If he doesn't, it's been set up that he totally can, because he has the old wingsuit now. This episode was amazing. This is by far the best episode so far. I fucking loved it. Everything about it worked so well. Great action, some great writing. Yes, there's that one scene, but other than that, the writing is fantastic. I like the fast-paced moments. I like the slow moments, and I have full faith that next episode they're going to deliver. Unlike WandaVision, where it was kind of like, are they going to be able to nail it? And personally, I thought they did, but I seem to be not in the minority on that. But I'm definitely, not everyone agrees that they nailed it, the ending of WandaVision. But I think they're going to do it this time. This one seems a lot more stable. There's a lot less risk involved in it, but that's fine. I guess they are taking risks. They're just different ones. But I have thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I am excited to see where it goes next week. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end off. So I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time. Peace.